No quiero perder lo que queda. Seguimos siempre la pasión y confiamos solo en el amor. Yeah. No quiero perder lo que queda. Y más allá. A través de la gran oscuridad hasta que me convierta en rayos. Y más allá. A través de la gran oscuridad y más resuena por la pared, creando una canción. No quiero perder el ritmo. Y más allá. A través de la gran oscuridad hasta que me convierta en rayos. Y más. Solo un trueno de horizontes, seremos miles, crecemos en número, solo un trueno de horizontes, seremos miles, más y más allá, a través de la gran oscuridad, hasta que me convierta en
thoughts get thrown around, but we keep going on believing, and on till we're all cried out, 'cause we don't feel like throwing it all away. We don't feel like it. This time it's not about escaping. We don't feel like it. We don't feel like it. 'Cause we don't feel like throwing it all away. Thoughts get thrown around, but we keep going on believing, and on till we're all cried out, 'cause we don't feel like throwing it all away. We don't feel like it. it's not about escaping. We don't feel like it. We don't feel like it. Cause we don't feel like throwing it all away. We don't feel like it.
Writers write what they know. Liars write what they wanna show. Singers sing what they told. But I know you got something else to say. A secret language speaking in tongues. Snake like tongue tied, you on the run. Tribal dancing, I don't know what you are, you are, you are, you are. Summer floating over my heart. We're both dancing over the dark side. I don't know who you are, you are, you are, you are. You got letters sprinkled all over your body. If I join up the dots, it makes me feel naughty. I feel like I shouldn't touch. You gotta know touch and sign. I feel like I shouldn't run. You're blocking the exit with your life. You're blocking the exit with your life. Stella, addicted to light. Center, always in the limelight. Show ya a real good time. Oh, I know you got something else for me. A secret language speaking in tongues. Snake like tongue tied, you on the run. Tribal dancing, I don't know what you are, you are, you are, you are. Summer floating over my heart. We're both dancing over the dark side. I don't know who you are, you are, you are, you are. You got letters sprinkled all over your body. If I join up the dots.
G'day, g'day. There we go. We've got some audio. Webcam's a bit wonky at the moment. I'll just quickly reconfigure that. I'm just going to change the exposure. Whoa, okay, that's a little brighter. There we go. I think that's better. Good, good, good. Welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be working with Azure Functions and Azure API Management. So today, we're just going to be having a bit of a play around with this. The goal of today is to have a durable function, or just this, in this instance, we can just have a standard HTTP endpoint Azure function to be able to actually authenticate. Oh, it's gone all formatted, focusy. I'm just going to turn off focus. The goal is to obviously do that today, so that essentially we need to. So I'm just lost myself train of thought. So the goal is to have a durable function, or just a standard static function that we can have enabled within Azure API Management, and we're going to be able to try and call that function through Azure API Management, but using authentication. So it's an authenticated function itself. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Let's have a bit of a play. So, so I'm just kind of going through some documentation because literally I am winging it right at the moment. So also my keyboard's bricked, so I'm kind of in a bit of a dead spot at the moment in terms of I've got obviously issues with having a terrible little just wireless lap keyboard that I'm using for the time being. So we've got PS live streaming. Let's just go ahead and create Azure API Management and Azure Functions. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll just call it PowerShell Michael demo. Yeah, npm's fine. PS live streaming straight east organizational name. Test, something along those lines. To pricing, we can just go developer, that's fine. Not the preferred email, but we'll just deal with that for the time being. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, so once we've done that, we're creating our go to live stream. While we're doing that, we need to create Azure Functions. So I'm just going to create a standard Azure function. That's really not much, it's not very special. And then we'll deploy it, and then we'll have a bit of a play. So we're a function app. You run inside a Docker container. Cool. I'm just going to run .NET Core, that's fine. Central region, I'm just going to say Australia, Southeast, that's fine. I'm going to just do consumption, that's fine. Operating systems, Windows, that's fine. Application insights. Yeah, we probably should have it turned on just to make sure. It's not the end of the world, so we'll just wing that. Okay, while waiting for that to complete. So essentially, API management's fairly straightforward to set up. The only thing that I'm kind of struggling with at the moment is I do know that there's a jQuery library out there that allows you to authenticate to Microsoft. So I'm just kind of trying to work out what the process is to actually authenticate to Azure API Management with an actual Azure Active Directory user, and then being able to actually pass those token information through. So that's where the challenge is going to be today. That's what I think it's going to be the issue. So who knows? But all we know is we need to get this done for today. So once I've done all this, I kind of think I've overcome all the hurdles that I need to kind of get this over the line. So yeah, get my summit speech over, get my summit demos written. So all right, so while waiting for that, it should be pretty much done by now. Yeah, PS live streaming. Let's see what we got. Okay, we've got Azure API Management, so let's have a quick squiz at that. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to go Visual Studio 2019. I might as well just deploy my function app itself. It's nothing wrong with it. It's working, so I might as well do that. We can deploy it, so we can go ahead and publish that as well. Service is being activated, that's fine. Okay, let's see if we can deploy this. See if I'm jumping the gun, but we will have a go. Select existing. Consumption plan, create profile. Alright, I'm just going to need to re-enter some credentials and fulfill my 2FA, MFA requirements. While waiting on that, go through approving a request again. Resource group. Hopefully we can actually see all the resource groups, and then I can just select the function. Select a thing, so let's just go ahead and see if I can. District Enterprise, let's see if I can see my resource groups. Look at that. I've got BrizPug and PowerShell Summit. think. Okay, it hasn't added it yet. It's still being activated. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Unless I put it in the wrong bloody one, did I? Pretty sure I stuck it in this one. Where's it? Where did I put it? Resource course. Okay, yeah, I'm just waiting for it to. Oh no. So that's that. Where's my Azure? My Azure. Okay. Did I deploy my Azure app? I'm pretty sure I did. Didn't I deploy my Azure app? I don't know. Okay, let's go have a look. Sorry, my function app, not my Azure app. Function app. Yep. Consumption, yep, that's fine. Monitoring, turn it on. Tags. Oh, I didn't. I mustn't have created it. That's all right. We'll go ahead and create that. So while we're waiting on we can have a look at our function app. Oh, sorry, API management. Okay, so it's still activating. That's fine. So from what I see is that when you create it, it creates a function key essentially that sticks it in the function. So basically, it will still call the function itself so using as a function, using the function key, and then it passes through, which that makes sense. It's really just proxying it. So rule of thumb is it looks like don't expose your internal function API, only expose obviously the API management endpoint. So okay, that makes sense. Now, authentication. Yeah, it does through OAuth. I know that. Yeah. App service authentication. Log on with login action to take when request is not authenticated. This mode creates a new Active Directory application for your. Yep. Yep. Okay, so in other words, Coke sign, I'm also going to be used. Yep, that's fine. Instead, you're going to need to replace it with the correct audience. Okay. Don't forget to save your changes. Okay, so how do I auth with JavaScript? That's the next thing I need to work out. Or jQuery. I know there's a jQuery library around here somewhere, so I'm just going to go have a hunt for it. While we're waiting for it, let's go have a hunt for it. Microsoft Authentication. ATIN jQuery. Oh, there's a jQuery library. I've seen it before. OAuth. I need OAuth. Implicit identity platforms. Sign users in single page apps for both personal. Yep. Security characteristics. Yep. Uses OAuth. SPA. Yep. Consents, returns a token. Calls a token API. Validates token. Receives. Yeah. Yep. Okay, that's exactly right. Initially, the user signs in with. You can send it over. Yep. To get the ID token. Yep. I know there's a library out there that does this for me, so I don't even have to do this. I might have to go do some research off camera. I don't really want to do it. I want to kind of struggle through it on camera because it's always much more entertaining. So let's see where we're at with this. Is it still getting ready? Yeah, it looks like it's still getting ready. Well, let's see if our function app's completed. Yep, looks like it's done. So let's go ahead and deploy it using Visual Studio. Let's just see if we can refresh it. There we go. Let's go to arrange for that deployment slot. Don't have any deployment slots. No, we'll just go there. All right. We're make it a zip deploy. That's fine. Username, password, configuration release, username. Apparently that's that, but we will see. I don't think that's going to be the case. Let's go ahead and publish it. Yep. While we're waiting on that, let's keep having a look for this jQuery library. Okay, it's doing zip deploy, that's fine. Authentication rows for jQuery. I know there's a library out there. I know there's a library. I just don't know where it is. That's the thing. I know that there is one. Well, that's a good one. Microsoft. This is a bit of an interesting one. Let's see if it's deployed. Okay, it's succeeded. Let's have a look at it. Just want to see if it's actually in there. Now we had a oh my god, this drives me nuts. .microsoft.com. Oh my god. So we got this flow. That's not the flow. Alright, we need to sign into another account. Alright, give me 2 seconds. Let me sign into flow.microsoft. Let's pull up the password. We'll just put that on the new other side of the screen. Bu, bu, bu. Alright, so I've done that. Okay, cool. Now we've got a flow in here that I created the other week, which is just posting a message. The flow is going to fail. We know that, but essentially I just need to see the flow trigger. And we should see Teams. So if we jump on teams.microsoft.com, Teams. Okay, let's use Electron. Fantastic. I'm having so many issues with Teams at the moment. Okay, so we've got that done. So let's go to and turn this flow on. I'm gonna convert this to an Logic app later, but just for this for the time being, we can do that. So now what we can do here is let's actually go have a look at the function app. So oh geez, we've got a lot there. The app is in read-only mode because you're reading from a package file. Yep, okay, that's fine. HTTP start. Let's get the URL and let's see if we can actually hit it. Let's see if we can actually hit this bad boy. Okay, we've started it. We've got our instance ID. So let's just copy that. Notepad. While that's happening, it should have triggered a flow. And we should get a message here from Teams. provided that everything is working. I don't know if it is, so we'll see. Oh, we got a chat message. Yep, so you can see here, there's my approval deny, so it's triggered it. And now we can actually, we can go ahead and prove it's going to fail because it's basically posting back. But that's good. So that means that this process is somewhat working. All right, so the next thing, so we've got that in place, which is fantastic. So what we can actually do now is, let's just get rid of that. We need to actually, how's this configured at the moment? Okay. All right, so the first thing we need to do is, if we head back into PS Live Streaming, let's see if we've got our API management working. Yep, it looks like we're up. Still getting ready. All right, well, let's just go through this. So what first thing we need to do is go API Management Service. Yep. API Management, select the API menus on the left, which we have, and we're still waiting for the service to come up. Okay. Well, while waiting for that, let's just keep digging around for this jQuery library. So I know that, I just know that there's a, like, I've seen it. I just don't know where it is. Authentication. Just go that. Protect your API with OAuth 2. Yep, here's an overview. API registration, registry application. Every client. Okay, so you can grant access to the app through. Okay, that makes sense. That's cool. Enable OAuth 2, user authentication, developer console. Console, OAuth 2, endpoint. Client registration URL points to yes. Configure their own accounts. I know there's, I just know there's a bunch of code. Like, I don't want to have to rewrite the entire piece. Version 1.0 endpoint. Single page. Let's just use single page because that's what we're working with. Enable open implicit grant. Yep. So authentication advanced settings. You need to check the box access tokens. Yep, that's fine. Configure the sample to use Azure Active Directory tenant. Okay, run the sample. Clean decisions. Yep. I think it. Okay, let's go have a. I just want to see if they can find the where is the actual startup auth? That's the app scripts. I think this is what I'm needing. Window config, enter config values, instantiate adl. Yep. Yep. Cached user. I know. I think What? Yeah, it's a tough one. Is that still getting ready? Geez, that's taking its while. It's taking its sweet time. That's all right. I'm pretty sure it might be this. I'm just going to quickly go back and see if there's actually .NET, PHP, web applications using role-based access control. Ooh, yeah, that's been .NET though. I don't want no .NET. Developer console. We could just use Node. So I'll have a look at the node, and I know that we'll also go back to the sample shows how to write a single page application secured with Azure Active Directory. Okay, let's have a look at the API. Oh, that's JavaScript. Register, yep, same kind of install MongoDB. Not a fan. I kind of want it to be completely serverless. Alright, well, what we can do is... Looks like this is the one we're going to do. Oh, it's a new page, it's a new sample. V2, fantastic. Demonstrates all normal life cycles, how to get a token, refresh, call backend, sign user application. Sign the portal, yep, build and run the sample. Using your favorite IDE, open apps.json, replace client. Replace the IDA audience application setting with the application ID of your register Azure application. Same grid as you pasted to the clipboard. Can't really set. Okay. When the user presses the login button, sign-in happens in app.js by a call to login pop-up. When the user presses to do, okay, let's have a squiz at the code. We might as well clone it. Clone a desktop. Let's just go ahead and clone it and get cracking. Get cracking. And let's have a look at it. Okay, so let's go ahead and clone it. Where to clone with URL. Let's just paste the URL where to clone to. Let's just go git. Let's go ahead and clone that. Okay, we've cloned it. Sweet. Let's go have a look again. So the premise here is that we can basically have a bit of a squiz at it. So yep, that's jazz. Okay, let's have a look. So let's have a look. So yep, that's fine. That's fine. Configure auth. Might as well install it. See if it's completed. Still getting ready. Jeez, I'm just gonna refresh it. I'm hoping that it's done soon. Control F5. The old Control F5. Alright, so that's done. Let's go have a look at what we've got. Language C#, yep. This app, the to-do list client, the to-do list service are represented by using the application ID. Okay, yep. Use the user Azure uses the metadata. Okay. Let's have a look at the scripts. Enter global config values, instantiate the MSL client application, auth callback, error description, token error rate, token type. This function is called and login redirect. Yep. Client application. Where is this created? I don't see any class. Interesting. Is it still up? Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Still getting ready. Okay. Hmm. Uh, bu- 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 We could just use a frame, potentially. We hosted on any HTML. Yep, updated. iframe is loaded. Authenticated. GSC cookie tied into the main hosting the Azure function. Yep. It's not set. Response headers. Alright, so what we can do... It's going to be an interesting one because this is going to probably be the big challenge is how we actually get that to auth. So... Still getting ready. Come on, guys. Still in the process of activating. This is really quite slow. How long does it take to activate? Oh well. Okay. Let's go ahead and run it. Let's work out what it's going to do. So let's go ahead and just run that code and work out what the dealio is with it. So let's go down here. We'll go get, go that, open that up. Let's go ahead and build this bad boy. Yep. To-do list, a simple SPA, so demonstrating Azure AD and MSA LJS. Yep. I'm just gonna go ahead and run it and see what happens anyway. I think, oh, no. Okay, so we click on login. Up. Oh, hang on, I gotta turn off. There we go. Just want to have a look at how that login button hangs together. So hyper JavaScript login. It's an event. Okay, let's go have a look at that. Christian Donna get problem. Yep. That's fine. All right, so let's have a look at the login. So if we go to login, where's login? Find login. Okay, have a JavaScript class app on nav bar, nav right. Class app login, okay. Alright, so we're now going to go to login. So let's go have a squiz at that. How is it raising that or calling that event? How does it know? Because it's just JavaScript. Okay. I'm actually intrigued if okay. So essentially app login is calling navbar collapse. Yep, so it's collapsed. Role document, sample illustrator, yep, that's fine. So class app login, so let's have a look. So it calls that, and then it calls this. The MSA object is bound to the window object after the constructor is called. Yep. I'm just intrigued to find what is this object. I've never seen this object. I have a sneaking suspicion. There it is. Okay, this is making sense now. So essentially, okay, so Bluebird is just CSSing stuff. Obviously they're using jQuery. What's the bootstrap min do? I don't think we need that. The only thing we really need is the msal.min.javascript, which then this in turn calls. So when it will create a new object. So essentially, that's a class that we're essentially referencing. And all I need to do is reference that. Windows on hash change, load view, strip video. Yep. Window hash change trigger. Click log out on sign in. Yep. Load view. And then, okay, so then that basically means that essentially that's really all I need. To be really honest, which is great. That's fantastic. Okay, so that's making a lot more sense now. So the controls, what have we got? Home control. Function is only declared as a placeholder for future improvements. Yep, that's fine. Use strict. Yep, okay. So HTML. So calls the to-do list web API with a HTTP bearer access request and update data. Okay, so essentially, it's just calling a specific endpoint. So we've got JavaScript Ajax, type get, URL, headers, authorization, access token. Access tokens passed in there. Each to-do items return. Okay, so essentially this is just going calling, it's querying it. Register data click handlers. Get the access token for the backend, calls the web API and deletes the current item. Okay. Please enter the to-do description. So after description entry dot find, yep, get that. If the length is less equal than 0, get the access token for the backend, calls the web API and saves the current item. Okay, I think I should be able to get this to work now since I know what the dealio is. So that's good news. The question is now, it's online, fantastic. Okay, so we've got Aprim now, so let's go and add our function app. Let's go browse it. Let's go select our function app. What we're going to go is PowerShell Michael, select that bad boy. Let's just go ahead and run HTTP start. That's the one that I really like. We're just going to test to make sure we can hit it. That's our base URL. That's our API suffix. So I'm just going to kind of paste this into our we'll just scratch pad. Pad.txt. So we've done that. What we need to do now is the API URL suffix. We'll just add that, which is this. So essentially we're calling PowerShell Michael. So I'm going to click full because I actually want to see. Oops, damn it. Go browse that. Go full, yep. Description, yep, that's fine. Tags. Version this API, we're just gonna not version it. Wait for that to complete. I think I know what I need to do now to kind of get this to work. So essentially, we just need to call those endpoints, update or register our application within our tenant. As long as we can call it, we should be good to go then. And then basically just have the function essentially have the JavaScript locally authenticate on docu load, on document load, get token info, pass that token info, good to go. So looks like it's done all my heavy lifting for me now. Okay, yeah, header name. We are going to use OAuth. No OAuth service we configured. Let's sample it all. Please specify an OAuth 2.0 server. I need an OAuth 2.0. Okay. Yep. Import the function that automatically generates a host key. Yep. Named value, which is Chris. Yep. Test the new API. Okay. So I need to actually configure it so that it's requiring authentication. Okay, so okay, so let's just quickly go and have a squiz. What I'm looking for is how to enable authentication. Oh, I got authentication policies. Oh, protect your API using OAuth 2.0. Here we go. Protect an API using OAuth 2.0 using Azure Active Directory and API Management. Okay, perfect. So we need to go to Azure Portal and register application. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and create a new tab. Sorry, I'm on a really terrible keyboard today because my actual normal keyboard's bricked. So good stuff, good stuff. So once we've done that, what we need to do, just want to make sure that that's sweet. Register application and Azure AD to represent the ADI. Okay, so we just need to go to the portal. Might just quickly drag this off the screen, and then I'll bring it back. So we're looking for go to register application search and select API registrations. API registrations. I think this needs to be changed. Okay, so yeah, we can just go in any tenant. Oh, sorry, in my tenant only. New registration. We need to register an application, pay appears, supported account types. Okay, let's just call this Azure API Management test function test function app. Let's go ahead and register. Just quickly make sure that we are good. Yep, okay, cool. Okay, so in the name, enter a meaningful name. Okay, leave the redirect row, click register. In the app overview, you can see the client ID. We need to record that, so let's grab that bad boy. Let's put that in our scratch pad. Yep, select and expose an API. Expose an API. Yep, and select the application ID URI. We need that. Okay. Just FYI, this is all being binned afterwards, but anyway. Yep, record this for later. Then click add a scope. Okay, let's go ahead and add scope. Create a new scope, supported for the API, except files read. Finally, add the scope button to create a scope. Okay, let's just give it, we'll just give it, me. Who can consent? Admins, admin users, or hang on. Determines whether the users can consent to the scope in directories where the is enabled. Select admins only for high privilege permissions. Well, that's not really any high privilege. It's me, just read. I'm just going to go me read. So we've done that. Okay, sweet. Now repeat this step until all our scopes are supported. We only need to get read. We only need to auth. That's it. Okay, register another application to represent the client application. Each client application that calls the API needs to be registered as an application in Azure AD as well. For example, the client application in the developer console and API Management developer portal. Okay. So go, yep. Alright, so what we need to do here, when registering, let's just quickly register an API, represent the API. I'm just going to call this API. Alrighty. Register another application Azure AD to represent the client application. Each client application that calls the API needs to be registered as an application AD as well. This example, the client application in the developer console is the developer console. Yep, here's how to register it. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and back. We've got, so let's just call this Azure Function App Client. Select web and enter the URL. I think I need to enter in the URI, select web. Yep. And enter the URL, Contoso 5 portal. Okay, why do I need to enter that URL? Alright. Register the app. Let's go ahead and register it. Now create a client secret for this application to use in the subsequent steps. Okay. That's what I need to do now. So let's create a quick sticky note. And we'll create a client secret. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll just go demo. Copy that bad boy. Paste that here. Just refresh it, make sure it's hidden. Okay, cool. Alright. So once we've done that, yeah, when the client secret's here, note the key value for the next subsequent step. Grant permissions in Azure Active Directory. Okay. So we need to add permissions. Oh, hang on. So go back to the Azure portal and select API registrations. Registrations. Yep. Let's just under select an API. Yep. First select the backend app and delegated permissions. Is delegated permissions the previous blade? Where's delegated permissions? I have no idea where delegated permissions is. When's the last time this has been updated? Alright, well, we'll deal with that in a moment. I would app restrictions. No. Endpoints. Endpoints. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh, this is like seriously tedious. I'm wondering whether it's easier just to go back to the. Actually, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave them there. So in here, what did he do? SV2, cool. We'll just have a look at the README. How do we, where is it? Open preview. ASP.NET backend, yep. Introduction, member cell preview, yep. How to get a token, how to refresh. Supporting Microsoft Azure Active Directory. Yep. Prerequisites. You need that. Yep. Sign to the portal. As you can see, yep. Set the right portal session. Click app reservations. Yep. So it's calling back to the web app. Alright, so how's it processing the callback? Because that's going to be the issue. So it's calling. There's nothing in there though. So how is it listening for callback? Controllers, what's on the controls? To-do list controller. It is. It is listening for that callback. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Totally forgot about callback. I'm just trying to think. How am I going, like, because I know ultimately you can't, like, what you're doing is with the callback, it's just capturing the authorization key back from the auth token. And I'm wondering whether we can just capture it, because essentially it's just doing a get request to that specific URL with the query of the authorization token. Oh, sorry, of the authorization key. So that's frustrating. Like, it's understandable that you need to obviously have a callback URI, but I'm just thinking there's got to be a way to do it in a serverless state. Like, I know there's a way to do it. I'm just trying to, kind of work out how would I be able to kind of make that work. That's an interesting one. And we need to have that specific. Okay, I'm just going to kind of. Was this V2? Yes. Okay, so let's just go ahead and we'll reread the entire documentation and kind of get our head around again. Introduction: how to get a token, how to refresh a token, how to call a web backend web API, how to sign out of the application. New registration, register application. Under support account types, select the account's organizational directory and personal Microsoft accounts. All right, well, we might, you know what we will do? Let's just go ahead and do this anyway. Let's just follow what they're doing, and so we can actually just plug it in and work it out. I think that's probably a good start. So let's go ahead and do that. Now it's not the end of the world if I have to run a server and have it call back. Like I don't mind, but I'm just like I would prefer it to be serverless because it really comes down to that's how I really want it to just be static HTML. That's it. No shenanigans. So let's go live streaming. Oh, hang on, we need to go Azure Active Directory. That's where we need going. We're not going to resource groups. We're going Azure Active Directory. Azure Active Directory. Let's go ahead and go app registrations. I'm just going to go ahead and bin my apps that I just created because we're not going to use them. Once I have a bit of an understanding, I think I'm going to have to do a lot more research off camera. I kind of was like, yeah, we'll just wing it. Like, how hard can it be? And it was pretty hard. So app registrations, new application. Let's just call it. We'll just call it test function app APIM. Just do that. Accounts in this organization. Yep, single tenant. Okay, we're just going to do a default redirect. Once click register. Note the application ID. Let's get that bad boy. Let's just chuck that in our Scratch heap. Up. Now we need to quickly just go back to my Scratch pad. Oops, we need that. Just go ahead and register that. Application ID requires implicit grant flow to be enabled. In left hand, select authentication. Implicit grant flow. Let's have a quick read, make sure I understand what it is. Identity, you can sign users into your single page apps, both personal and work accounts. Single page JavaScript, primary run, and security characteristics of these apps. Traditional, yep. Manual authorization does not support call requests, yep. Full browser page, yep. Becomes particularly invasive to the user experience. Yes, so we're definitely going to need to enable implicit grant. I'm guessing then. This article describes, yep, I recommend you supported. If you prefer. Well, we've got the goodies, so we've already got that, so that's good. But I'm just interested in seeing what it's doing. So signs in, yep, returns the token in a fragment, calls the API, validates, returns the secure data. Where's the authorization? At this point, the user asks, yep, identity, yep. Once user, it will return a response to the app indicated with a redirect URL using the method in the response mode parameter. Yes. Successful response. Response mode fragment. ID token. Yep. Yep. So now you sign the app, your single page app, you can silently get the access token for calling web API, securing by your identity platforms such as Microsoft Graph. Yep. Okay, so fantastic. Normal ID. Yep. Token endpoint. For details. Okay, so it looks like we are going to have a web server at some stage because essentially there is going to be but it's not the end of the world. It just means that we are running basically a really lightweight web client, which essentially will take a token. It'll send a token to, it'll send an application, an authorization key to. Okay, so that's fine. Like that's not the end of the world. So let's just go ahead and refresh this. So while we're doing, we head back. Once we've done that, let's head back. Okay, so yes, we need to enable implicit grant. So advanced settings under implicit grant allows an application. So we can have a quick look here. Allows an application to request a token directly from the authorization endpoint. Requested if recommended only if the application has a single page architecture, no backend components, and invokes a web API via JavaScript. Yes. We're going to be doing access tokens. Do we need ID tokens? What does he say? What do they say? No. ID and access tokens are required since the app needs to. Yep. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So if we head back here, let's go and get both. Accounts. Supported account types. Who can use this application? Yep. Due to temporary differences in the supported, we don't recommend you enabling personal Microsoft accounts for existing registration. Yep, that's fine. Let's go ahead and save that. Okay, perfect. We are good. All right, so let's continue on. So build and run our sample. I think we need to plug in an ID. So let's go ahead and do that. So open app scripts, request a client ID. So let's go to our Scratchpad. Let's go into VS Code. That was interesting. And we need to, yep. Note that ID tenant is not currently set. Replace ID, a audience application setting with the application ID of your secured register application. Okay, so we need to get the application ID. So if we go back to overview, oh, it's the same thing. It's just the application ID. Okay, so we've got that. So we need to go into, is it, where was it? Where was it? It was, this is V1. We don't want V1, we want V2. Replace, okay, open the web config in the root of the application. Okay. Not needed in this current version because all web APIs are currently multi-tenant. Okay. So, let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So go log in. See if it's logged in. Edit pop-up options. I'm just going to give it a local host. Where is my pop-up box? How to take advantage of signing with Microsoft. Yep, okay. Alright, let's go back to Docker and see what it says. It should basically say some other bits and pieces. Okay. Create. When the pop-up box appears, sign in with the information. Yep. Click on the user to see information about the sign user and the to-do list so we can edit the to-do list. Okay. So let's just click on the to-do list. Let's see if that works. I don't think that worked. You've granted this. Okay. Okay. With the application ID of your registered Azure Active Directory, same GUID as you pasted from the queue. No. Okay, I just want to make sure that that's set properly. No, wrong one, wrong one, wrong one. Here we go. So that is the same as that. Empty block statement. Okay. Let's have a look at the console. Select element. Unhandled rejection. Okay. Is not configured as a multi-tenant application. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix that. So let's go to that. Oh, hang on. What's it called? I think yes, this one. Where was it? Where was it? Where was it? Where was it? Authentication. Okay, I need to work out how to make that single single tenant, but not a. Well, yeah, we're gonna have to work out how to sort that. So yep. Okay, so if we go refresh, where's my page? Let's refresh. Let's just, I'm not pausing on exceptions, I'll just go for it. Sign in. There we go. Now, oh, for a 4. So click user. Okay, yep, there we go. Sweet. Okay, cool. Okay. I don't care about that. Okay. So essentially that's using multi-tenant. The first thing we need to do is switch it back to single tenant. I'm not, obviously, we don't want to have a multi-tenant. So I think, so it says, replace the IDA audience application. Note, the IDA tenant is not currently set in web config as all web APIs are currently multi-tenant. But I want it to be not multi-tenant. All right, so if that's the case, we need to work out roles and administrators, API permissions. Not a fan of it, eh? I'm just not a fan of it. Oh, required for the use of following flows when redirect URI is not used. Treat application as a public client. Integrated Windows authentication. That'd be great. Just authenticate straight in. If your desktop or mobile application runs on Windows and the machine is connected to a Windows domain AAD joined, it's possible to use integration Windows to acquire the token silently. No UI is required. Oh, that's cool. So, federated users, yep. Authority, okay. IWA does not bypass MFA if an MFA challenge is required because MFA requires user integration. This one's tricking. If you do not, okay, well, I think I'm just going to yeah, okay. Okay, so we can go get the token locally if needs be. Okay. Okay, well, I think for the time being, that's just adding complexity where we don't need it. I think what's the more important thing is us trying to actually get this working just with we need to work with single tenant. So web APIs currently a multi-tenant. Oh, is that single tenant ones? That's the question now. So there we go. On to the next part of the journey. Is there a way we can single tenant, multi-tenant apps? All users in the Active Directory can use your application API. Use this option if your target, yeah. This is that uses 365. Oh, hang on. Okay, if it's an Azure Active Directory. Okay, so if we go back to API permissions, no, authentication. Oh, that's frustrating. Try out a new experience. Okay. Due to temporary differences in support of functionality, we don't recommend you enabling personal Microsoft accounts for existing registration. If you do need to, you can do so using the manifest editor. Let's see if that means any old person can basically hit that app. That's what it says. Anyway, all right. Well, we'll work with that later. That's the next thing. All right. So What we need to do now is have a bit of a look at how this integrates with API management. So is there like, let's just go ahead and see if we can URL scheme, yep. APM subscription required, query subscription key. Okay, security. All right, now I think the next thing we need to work out is adding authentication to API management. Authentication policies. Okay, so I think we need to put an authentication policy on it. So see policies and API management. So this section refreshes, yep. Policies, exceptions, control flow, advanced policies, yep. Forward requests, log to event hub, retry, return responses, send requests, HTTP proxy. Okay, so there's a few things in here. Okay, so in order, yep. Inbound, outbound, yep. How to configure, how to set or edit policies. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go into that, click the design, all operations, inbound posts, policies. Okay. So this is where we insert our policy. Okay, so we need to authenticate with a client. Oh, okay, so what we need to do is select the design tab, select the operation we want to apply the policy. Paste the desired policy code. Okay, so policy scopes can be configured internally by API or operation. Yep. Inbound, backend, outbound on error. So all inbound. We'll just make it all inbound. So inbound statements applied to inbound requests go here. Statements, so that's for inbound policies. Backend policy statements to be applied here if before the request is forwarded to the backend service go here. Statements can be applied to the response for outbound, and statements can be applied here if there's an error condition. So let's just say on inbound we want, oh man, there's a lot. That's really cool. Let's just put a policy with manage identity. Okay. Maybe okay, so yeah. What's the syntax? Because it doesn't apply syntax. So this is insert policy. Fantastic. Okay, hang on. To apply policy, yeah. Oh, okay. It's already there. Policies are processed in order. Comments within policies are not supported and may disappear. Okay. All right. So essentially, got cross domain, find and replace. Okay. So essentially, it's just they're just tags, like so. So we go ahead and insert our policy. I'm going to validate the date in the header or query pair. Use an inbound section. So authenticate with delete that. Gonna do that. Calculate the effective policy. That's really cool. G'day, how you going? I am having a struggling time. That address doesn't work for me. Oh, for Lean Pub. HTTPS. You're kidding. PS conf book. PS conf book. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna fix it, and I'll paste you the link. That's frustrating. I thought I copied and pasted it. I mustn't have. PowerShell conference. V2. You know, it's one of those things. I'll paste the link. There you go, mate. It is helps if I actually put a 2 on the end of it. Oh my gosh. That's so tragic. Sorry, mate. Yeah, okay. So rate limit calls. That's really cool. I like how we can just effectively create a policy. Forward request. Outbound on error. Okay. I'm just going to copy and paste that. That's fantastic. Do that. Make that so. That's my policy. Oh, policy is not allowed in specified scope. Line 19. Quota calls. Really? Please provide a non-empty authentication manager identity on line 21. Please provide a non-empty resource attribute. Okay, we need to. Yeah, there's 2 books. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, let's just kind of undo our changes. Let's see if that works. Okay, that's not working because I think I'm not doing something right here. I think I need to actually go and have a look. I need to actually go and have a look at what this does. So I'm just going to quickly jump into Google DuckDuckGo. Yep. How can I use the authentication policy? Authentication policy. Authentication managed resource. Oh, okay. MySQL. It doesn't give me any more information. I'm like, oh, this will be easy. Just need to set a policy. Nah. That's fine though. Limit processing. Authenticate with managed. This can be used to access OAuth protected services. Fantastic. How do we actually use it? Okay, it's not an element. Oh, that's great. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, it's got to be an element. No, it's not. It's not an element. Okay. All right, so there's my policies to my backend. I thought that was my policies. API editor, yep. Okay, is there a backend policy? No, there's not a backend policy. Okay, where's my policies? I think I must have done something wrong here. Inbound policies. Yeah, there's something wrong here. That bookmark. I'm gonna say, it if you want to level up your skills, like it is crazy PowerShell. So I'm not saying like it's written explicitly for, it's written by subject matter experts. So essentially, what you're getting is really deep dive items in the topics, but there's still so much content within that book itself that it gives you it gives you a bit of a knowledge base that you can come back to. So if you're thinking, oh, hang on, there's a chapter that this guy explains how this works, it's really quite handy. So there's one in there that talks about PowerShell remoting and things like that. And it's really it's very, very insightful reading. So it requires an understanding of PowerShell, and I can tell you now, like for the junior PowerShell people, it's a lot more, it's a definitely more of a challenging read. But at the same time, though, one of the guys, he mentioned that basically if you want to become a PowerShell god, this is the book for you, because essentially you're just getting a ton of really in-depth content on PowerShell, and you're obviously really leveling up your skills. So, well, I don't think it's working. So, I have no idea why it's not playing ball. I'm just gonna try it. Oh, okay, I can do it this way. Okay, let's just filter by an IP address. And let's just add a policy then. Validate. Enforces the invalidate of extracted from either HTTP header or the query parameter. Alright, well, let's just validate the token. I think I'm going to need to work out, I will just validate the token. Header name, authorize, fail validation, server is unavailable, add audience. Acceptable audience claims that can be present on the token if multiple. We'll just bin that for the time being. It forces the, yep. Okay. 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 So OpenID is a URL endpoint. Can be obtained. Request claims contains a number of claims. I don't want that. I want a course allows cross-domain browser-based clients. Set quota, validate JWT. Okay. Alright, I think what I'm going to probably have to do is we're going to probably have to revisit this. It's 11 o'clock now, so I'm going to be jumping off. But I think I'm going to do a bit more research. We will revisit this next week. I'm going to be obviously playing around with it for the rest of the day, get my head around a bit more. But we'll definitely be revisiting this and obviously getting getting this over the line. So yeah, a lot of interesting. This has definitely been an interesting session in terms of how Azure API Management works, how to basically get the JavaScript authentication to work. So obviously using ADL, MS-ADL. So a lot of interesting stuff there today, which was actually which was good. Obviously, I didn't make much progress, which is bad, but at the same time, though, baby steps, which is always the case. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, it's not many wins today, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, though, it is what it is, and yeah, we'll definitely be back next week to kind of keep plowing on with it. So I'll be back on Tuesday. We're doing the same thing, and then obviously next Saturday we'll be also carrying on as well. So if you liked it, don't forget to follow and subscribe. Definitely, this is a lot more of one of the more mundane ones I've done, but at the same time, though, yeah, yeah, stick it out, and we'll get there in the end. But anyway, guys, I'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.